Welcome to episode number 369 of the OMG Hour. It is May 22nd, 2020, and I, of course, am Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion Tane.
And I am Tico, Mr. Second Place.
Drinking a freshly cracked open can of Coca-Cola.
Yes, I went with Coca-Cola because I have actually now started doing what you do with the Soda Stream.
Using it?
Yes, using it. But I just made a fresh batch, and it's not cold yet.
Not cold?
So.
How is it not cold? Where is your water coming from that it's not cold?
The tap? It's not like...
It's not fridge cold.
It's not fridge cold. Like, you want a nice, crisp drink.
Do I?
And well, I do.
Crisp. A crisp drink. Is that the same as a crisp head of lettuce? Crisp drink?
It's like you want to have, like, when you have the stuff, it's like you get that feeling. You know, the commercials?
Like fresh and clean with no caffeine.
Sure. Or you can have caffeine. But I've been mixing my own concoctions.
Oh, yeah? What have you been making?
So I got a ginger ale syrup, or whatever they call those things.
I also had ginger ale, and I would put cherry flavoring in it.
So I've been doing strawberry lemonade ginger ale.
Ooh, that actually sounds really good.
It is very refreshing.
What are you using for the strawberry and the lemonade?
Crystal Light.
Okay, so Mio style stuff.
Yeah, it's like a Crystal Light strawberry lemonade flavor packet thingy squirt.
Oh, squirt, not crystals.
Squirt, not crystals, not the actual, because that's weird because they settle on the bottom. Yeah, you got to get the liquid and then.
Yeah, it has to be the liquid because you don't want to shake up pop.
No.
Here, let me just mix that up.
Well, I even find when I'm doing that, because you put the stuff in and you want it to mix.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing the swirl method.
Well, you just tilt it, just back and forth gently. That's enough.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there's something.
There you go.
Welcome
to the OMG Hour.
We're doing a show.
The whole, let's talk a whole episode about SodaStream.
All right, let's do it.
This week's episode brought to you by SodaStream. Well, actually, I wish it was brought to you by SodaStream. That'd be cool.
Brought to you by the flavor orange.
And the letter P.
We can do that. We can. Why not?
Why not? Anyway, so I thought we were going to go into this episode with not a whole lot of stuff to talk about. And then you started playing games.
Yeah, decided this week, why not? So the last couple of days, there's been a few things, and we talked about a few of the remasters the other day. So I did play some Mafia 2, a definitive edition.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's actually...
I saw screenshots of it, and it looks like garbage.
No, it looks good, but... I mean, the world's not as fleshed out as the games you get now. Like, they took an old game and they've re-prettied it, so it looks good. It plays well. It's just you can feel the world feels emptier than current.
I've seen some screenshots from it, and it does not look like it was upgraded in any way to me. Everything's so flat and boring, and there's no texture. And I did see an image from high above too, and you're right. The city looks dead. There's no activity in the city whatsoever. Yeah. So yeah, it definitely looks. It's a dated game. I mean, this game is from 10 years ago.
Yeah, and it's out on the. But I'm enjoying it. I like the Mafia. I like that Godfather storyline. I love those games that have that. You rise through the ranks of the. Can I
correct your statement?
Okay.
You just love getting the achievements again.
I don't mind getting the achievements again, but I have been more picky as to what I've been getting achievements with lately. Like, there are tons of easy achievement games for like $5-6, and I have chosen to play games now. I'm starting to play games more that I'm enjoying the story with. So, that being said, so I mean, I enjoy Mafia 2. It's I've just finished Mafia 3 recently as well, and it is hard to play them backwards like that because you go from super detail, rich storyline and everything like that to just a rich storyline without the super detail.
Yep. I've often thought of going back and trying to play the original Assassin's Creed again, but then something inside of me thinks, don't do it.
it's
gonna be terrible.
I have found that is so hard when you're like, man, I have these fond memories. It's like when there's a movie that you remember as a kid that like, man, this was the greatest movie ever. I absolutely loved that. And then you sit down with your kid to watch that movie. It's like, why did I like this crap?
This was garbage.
This was not well done.
When Red Dead Redemption 2 was announced, I went back to try to play Red Dead Redemption because it went to backwards compatibility, right? And I tried playing it, and it was just terrible. It was awful. I couldn't play it. Like
I found that a number of times I've gone back to games, and it is hard, particularly when like, for Mafia 2. For me, the hardest part for Mafia 2 is I've just finished Mafia 3, so then you're going backwards, and then they're releasing Mafia 1 in 2 months from now. So they're going backwards.
We're going,
with all of
exactly.
them.
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing. I also picked up, and this is I don't have a ton of gameplay in this so far. I have not played a ton of play, but probably played a couple of hours so far. Maneater dropped today. Today is the release day for Maneater, as what they call a shark PG.
It is a shark PG.
Yes. It's a weird game. You are a shark. And it is tied to a storyline. It sort of revolves around a nature TV show.
Oh, okay. That's the narration you hear in the game.
The narration is Chris Parnell, who you might remember from Parks and Rec, Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
He's that guy.
I would know him to see him.
You'd know him to see him. He played Dr. Spaceman in Parks and Rec. Not Parks and Rec, sorry, 30 Rock.
I never watched 30 Rock. Who is he in Parks and Rec?
He's not in Parks and Rec. I made a mistake when I went to say.
Well, then I don't know who he is.
Well, you'd see him and you go, that guy.
Okay. So the game is just basically you're a shark and you eat things, and the more you upgrade, the bigger you get.
Yeah, so you start out like the opening level, you are this big, full-sized bull shark, and you're going and you're terrorizing the beach, and you eat a whole bunch of people until this evil fisherman guy comes along. He's like the Quint from Jaws,
and he kills you.
He comes in and he captures you and catches you and kills you, and then like you're strung up on a boat, and he slices open your belly and pulls out this is a pregnant bull shark, pulls out a baby, and that baby then bites his hand off and jumps in the water, and then you start the game as that baby shark.
Okay.
So you are now.
So there actually is a story.
There's actually a story. Like it's a reverse Jaws story. So, in the story of Jaws, Jaws is after these people. Well, I guess Jaws 3. It's the mother. The child of Jaws going after the people. But Jaws, the shark is going after these people that have killed his mother. So you're eating and growing, and you also, because this is sort of set in the New Jersey waters of New Jersey type area. It doesn't necessarily say that, but it's very polluted and stuff like that. You end up getting the ability in your home base, or your grotto, as it's called, to attach new attributes as you level up.
Okay.
So you can get, like the first one I got was like a sonar thing, so I can press the B button to like blast sonar, so it shows me where everything I can eat is.
Are there enemies? Like I noticed just in the footage you got here, you're not being attacked by anything. You're just attacking.
No. So in the footage you see here, so there are the evil fishermen show up with their boats, and divers with spear guns and stuff like that. So there's an evade button. There is a thrash, like you thrash and stuff like that. There are also, you are not necessarily in each area. You are not the apex predator, particularly once you become once you're a baby shark.
Okay.
So there are alligators and other things that will attack you, and you can either run from them or fight back. Then early on you are too small to really do anything, so you're best to run from these things until you level up to become the apex predator in each little zone or area.
It's just There's got to be some joy in this game too, right?
It is, and that's the thing. It is very satisfying. The feel of gliding through the water as the shark is very realistic. It's a very realistic feel. You can go down and then left trigger gives you a speed boost, and you can breach the water and jump onto boats and attack people. People will be swimming in the water, and you can sort of slowly, stealthily sneak up on them. And
there's just something strangely, even just watching, there's something strangely fascinating
and
about watching the shark kill all these people on the beach.
And then are not getting out of the water for some reason. Like that part. Like I get it, because I needed to kill 10 people to trigger the next event, so I get it. It's fun. I love the humor to this. Like the characters are super over the top, so all the fishermen that come after you are different levels. So it's like when you're playing Punch Out and stuff like that. You the first guy who comes after you is kind of inept and stuff like that. You can crawl
up onto the beach. Oh my gosh!
Climb up onto the beach. You can't stay out there for too long, but you can thrash around the beach to go after guys. Scaly Pete is the big bad, who's the final boss, I'm guessing, of the game. It's fun, and you're as you develop your things, you can get bone armor on the outside of your shark. You can get poison. So when you're attacked, the other people get poisoned and stuff like that. So you evolve in different ways. You evolve your shark.
Man, this game looks so much fun. Is it a full price game? I think it is.
It's Canadian was $51.99. So it's not full price. Games now are $79.
That's true. So this
is considered, I guess, sort of a discount title.
Mid-level game now, I guess.
It's the mid tier. It's not your $20-$30 game, but it is. And I'm so far, again, only an hour or two into it, I'm having fun. The feel of being a shark, it gives a good feeling. I mean, there's some parts that are still awkward, like when you're trying to launch yourself out of the water at boats and stuff like that. A little awkward. But just the feeling of swimming after people is.
Well, it's also you're early in the game, so you got to figure out all the controls, right?
Yeah, I'm figuring out all the controls. So you can attack boats and you do damage to the boats. The humans are out on the boat, so you can actually upend a boat as you get bigger and bigger. You can completely upend boats and canoes and stuff like that to knock people into the water, and then enjoy a nice light snack.
Nice, exactly. Crisp and clean, crisp clean snack. It's fun. Just the visuals of the shark grabbing these people and jumping out of the water while taking a huge bite. And so you grab. So with the right trigger is your bite. So you grab, but you don't just swallow things automatically. You have to keep tapping it to keep chomping on your meal. Oh, that's funny.
So, it's a fun game. I like the aspect that it's you're a mutant shark because you're in the polluted waters of a New Jersey seascape town.
That's fun. And you've also been playing, I guess, golf with your friends, which is, by the looks of it, you've been playing golf with yourself.
Yeah, I've been playing golf with myself. So Golf with Friends was announced a little while ago, and it was a surprise day and date launch on Game Pass.
Yes.
And I'm glad it was, because I like these games. It is mini golf.
It's a first person mini golf, which is kind of interesting. So you see everything from the point of view of the ball.
Yeah, and it does make that difficult. Now you can you can press Y and you can sort of float over and go see the whole course. But these courses are very extreme courses, not something you'd see in real mini golf.
No.
They are also, because of that, it's very difficult. I really wish there was a flyover function like you had in Tiger Woods, where you could sort of look from above to see, okay, this is what the whole course is, because it's really, a lot of time it's just hitting the ball and hoping that you're hitting it in the right direction. There's a lot of different things.
Trial and error. I noticed even in the video that viewers will see shortly, there seems to be a lot of trial and error. It's not super precise. And you just over and over again, okay, that's not strong enough. Let's try a little bit less. Oh, that's not strong. Or sorry, it's too strong, and then it's not strong enough. And it's where's that perfect balance?
And not really being able, because it's first person. If you're looking up and over a lip, you don't have a good sense of what's on the other side of that lip unless you go in and scout out the whole thing every single time. I find that the controls, I guess what is the power that you the sense of how hard you should be hitting stuff does not feel intuitive. It does not feel like, okay, this distance I should be using this, and I find that I overhit stuff way too often.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, it does not feel good. I've managed on a few of the holes to get some good scores, but I've played probably about 15 different games of this so far. I did play one online as well. The online version, it basically drops you into a sort of like the ghost races from Mario Kart, where like you can see everybody shooting the stuff, everybody's playing at once.
Oh, okay.
And then once you sink your putt, it sits you on somebody else to observe. So it's not like it's I hit then you hit then, like you have, like I played, there's like 15 people in it once, and by the time I finished there was only 5 people left. That's how many people had quit and got frustrated.
I bet it. I'm not impressed by what I'm seeing. I'm gonna be honest, I have not played it myself, so yeah. I'm going on simply what you're telling me, and from what I've seen of your footage, is even watching you play here, I don't want to go play this.
It is a pretty frustrating game. I'm glad it was on Game Pass and did not cost me any additional monies other than my Game Pass subscription. This was up for pre-order at $26 Canadian.
I'm wondering if there was preview testing done, and a lot of people would say I wouldn't buy this.
It could be that, like, it is very, very frustrating. Like, like even like on a close shot, I'm like, okay, I'm going to line up, and it's like I pick what I think should be the distance, and it's like
not enough.
It fires it like over. No, it fires it
too
over
much.
the hole, too much every time, and then so you take a little bit off, and then it barely touches anything, and like doesn't go there, and like just finding that happy medium in these shots. Quite often is frustrating. Some of the obstacles, this particular one right here, like this hill should be jumping stuff up and over that, but it's hitting it and pushing it backwards. It's like,
or pushing it straight up into the air.
Yeah, and I don't know why it's doing that. Like I see no reason as to why that should be happening.
Yeah.
From a physics standpoint, and it gets frustrated. I had one where I was playing great through. It's an 18-hole game, and through 11 holes I was -3, and then all of a sudden I hit one where it was just an impossible one of these things where it just added it, and it was +14, and pissed off with the game.
I would be too. I'm gonna be honest, that it's frustrating. All right, well, that's golf with your friends, so maybe if
you have Game Pass, maybe check it out. Maybe you're a better golfer than me. Maybe I'm just a really bad golfer. I don't get that. Like, I play a lot of golf games, Tiger Woods. I've played other mini golf games before. I find this very, very frustrating as opposed to enjoyable. Like in Tiger Woods, you find that sweet spot. You hit that putt just right, and it feels fantastic as it slowly rolls towards the hole.
Exactly.
And if you tap one too hard, the next one isn't like, like if you hit one too hard and it lips the cup a little bit, it doesn't. Like the next one you hit, you get the sense of it, like in trial and error, and you get it in.
Yeah.
Not this. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to take a little bit off, and now, like the first one went 10 feet past the hole, and this one here went 2 inches. And it feels very frustrating.
Yeah, agreed.
But that's what I played this week, Sean.
Well, I played Animal Crossing. In fact,
heard of this classic of animals.
Interestingly enough, I just before lunch I jumped in to see how my island's doing. I had a few construction things going on yesterday, so I wanted to see their completion. And I have this little back area in my island where I put the money trees. Every day you can bury money in a special spot. It's a random spot, but once you plant the money, you can then move the tree somewhere else if you want. Basically, it's a glowing golden area that you dig. There's $1,000 in it, and then if you put more money back in, you typically $10,000, you'll get a tree that will grow 3 bundles of $10,000 in 4 days, so you can triple your money.
Okay.
But it's only in that one golden spot that you get randomly on the island somewhere every day. But I take those trees and I put them back, so all my money trees for the week are at the back of the island.
Yeah.
And I walk back there, and I see a new flower suddenly appear that was not there yesterday. And it's a white lily of the valley, which doesn't grow on the islands until you have a 5-star island, which is essentially one of the goals of the game, is to get your rating to be a 5-star rating, right?
So you finished the game.
So, well, yes and no. So I went to Resident Services and I said, give me my island eval. And it says Black Rock has a 5-star rating. And I'm like, yes, I did it. And it's all based on sort of how you've designed it, where you've put things, how many items you've got, sort of decorated. Like I have a little cafe area. I've completely redone the whole museum section at the back. I've redone all the roads and ramps so they're sort of all in line with each other now, like perfect straight lines right across the island and straight up the side of the island to the museum. And I've put like an outdoor museum, so whenever I get fossils that are already donated to the island, I take the smaller ones and I put them on these stone stools outside, so they look like an external fossil display. Right? Like an external museum. Yeah. So I've got that all working. And then suddenly today I've got a 5-star rating, which is like pretty awesome. So you say I finished the game. Well, yes and no, because while a 5-star rating is one of the goals, the other goal obviously is completely fill the museum, find all the fossils, find all the bugs and fish, and all the artwork that you can donate to the museum. So there's nothing left to donate. That will take a while, right? And then there's still, I still have ideas for decorating the island. I created an awesome, what I call my Zen garden. You walk into it, there's a stone arch at the beginning, and it's just, you see sort of 3 levels, and you walk in almost like a cave. So I have a stone arch, you walk in, and there's waterfalls, dual layered waterfalls on each side of you. With water underneath, so I put in a bridge there. Literally put a bridge in the middle of the island. On purpose, right? So I created a pond that you then go over on a bridge, and in the middle, again, surrounded by waterfalls, is all this sand and bamboo benches and bamboo trees growing. That's sort of like this little Zen garden, Zen oasis, Yeah. And it's all mountain around you, so you can't see anything else except the waterfalls. It's so cool. It's like I'm actually quite proud of that whole area, and it probably took me about a week to actually complete that whole thing. Get everything in there that I wanted. Because you have to make the stuff, and then I had to wait to find certain flowers and bushes that I wanted to plant. So I had to wait for Leaf to come, which is only like once a week. So I had to buy stuff from him. But it's that sort of, that it's a game of like slowly building things up. You can't do everything all in one day. And that's what I enjoy about it. I'm slowly adding new stuff to the island. But it was just so awesome to wake up this morning and find that I have a 5-star island now.
They like you. They really like you.
They really like me. So yesterday I had a really, really high turnip price.
Yeah.
Like a 576 per turnip, and I had, what did I have? 81,000 turnips that I sold at 576 bells per turnip. Made about 4.6 million bells in one day. Okay. Yeah, that's very good.
It's like a bell, like $1?
Yeah, a bell is the money. Yeah, okay. $1. So, yeah, I made $4.6 million yesterday. And I had people over. I opened up my gates to strangers to come in and sell their turnips. It's what they call the stock market, because it is a stock of turnips. Get it? This is the stock market. You can only buy turnips once a week. You buy them on Sunday.
Yeah.
When Daisy May is on the island. She's only there from 8 a.m. till noon on Sundays. That's the only day you can buy them. And then every day at Nook's Cranny, in the morning and afternoon, there's a different price. And you just keep watching your price. And the idea is you buy as much as you can, and then you try to sell them higher than you bought them. It's like just like the stock market. And then you turn a profit. You turn a profit.
So so you sell them on either your island or somebody else's,
or
if they have a...
Exactly, or someone else's. And I go on Twitter each week, and if I don't get a good price, then I'll check out Twitter and see who's advertising they've got a good price. And typically they'll give out what's called a dodo code, which allows you to travel to a stranger's island without having to be friends with that person. So I had a bunch of people in yesterday, and
They got to sell their stuff at a ridiculously high price, so that's awesome. That's basically my week in gaming. Animal Crossing every day after work. It's with my daughters too.
At some point in my life, maybe possibly play that game.
You should play it now.
I got people to eat.
You got to get a job too.
Yeah, I do have to do that.
So let's talk a little bit about Sony before we move on, because there's actually a lot of television stuff we want to talk about. But Sony apparently will be announcing something also in July for June. Sorry, June. July is Ubisoft. Yes. PS5 said in June there will be sort of their E3 thing.
Their E3 presentation. Yeah. Their games announcement.
Where they're going to show what they call a strong lineup of PS5 games. Not just first party, but third party as well. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that. I want to see what they're going to show.
Yeah, I kind of wish we still had that encompassing week.
Agreed.
You know, like where it's like, hey, today I get to watch the Sony, Microsoft, Ubisoft, and Bethesda stuff, and I get all that information
in one day.
In one day.
I'd be even happy if it was like this week: Monday Microsoft, Tuesday Sony, Wednesday Ubisoft. I'd be happy with that even.
Yeah, it's just it's hard. I guess it's not harder. It's what we have to because everybody's putting on their own thing. They're not involved with E3, so they don't have to do. They can do whatever they want. They don't have to pay any.
It's no longer a gamer's holiday, for lack of a better term. It's no longer an event.
Yeah,
like one event where you get to get all these things all at once. It's now like here's one. Oh, next month there's another one. Now it just feels like just an every month of the year type. Oh, we're gonna get a Sony State of Play this month.
Yeah,
you know, and next month we're gonna get Ubisoft's State of the Game. You know, and then Microsoft's whatever they call their thing, their showcase. You know, it doesn't feel like let's all come together and do an E3.
Yeah,
you know, extravaganza.
And the other thing is us as, you know, as critics and everything like that. There was always the like, who won, who had a better presentation.
Yes.
And it's hard to do when they're spread out so far apart.
Yeah.
You know, Microsoft goes at the beginning of the month, Sony goes at the end of the month. It's like, well, okay, wait, who did better? I can't remember. What did Microsoft talk about again? And it's so far apart that it's hard to compare because it's not fresh in your mind.
Yeah. Although I'm still remembering Microsoft's being very. What's the word I used? You hadn't seen it yet. I watched the whole thing. I found it uninspiring, or what was the word I used?
The third party one. I can't remember what word you used. They do have one in June as well.
Yes, the first party stuff.
The first party stuff in June as well.
But the third party stuff, I found the whole presentation was just, I don't know, a bit of a letdown, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But anyway, we talked about it a few weeks ago, but yeah.
Yeah, because normally what you see is you see them put together a presentation where it's like third party, first party, and they blend it together well. Yes. So it feels like it's a big announcement, and when seeing pieces of it done separately like that, it really does take away from the wow factor.
You'd think there was some weird global event going on that prevented them from doing stuff like this, but who knows? I know, whatever. Something.
I'm bored of being stuck in my house. I want to go out and do things, and it sucks.
Oh, you can go out now. Oh, by the way, I have to apologize to you.
You should. I don't know why, but
so last week you mentioned that Ontario was opening up with Phase 1 this week, and I said it's not, that it was pushed back. I was incorrect. It's not. Phase 1 did start this week, as you had said. What I remembered was Doug Ford was saying that the state of emergency in Ontario had been pushed back to June 2nd. Had been extended. And in my mind, that was linked to Phase 1. So I was thinking Phase 1 had also been pushed back to June 2nd.
No, it is. Phase 1 has come about. There's not too many differences. Stores are allowed to stores with outdoor facing entrances are allowed to open up. So malls are a no-go. But
so let's stay on the PS4 talk or PS5 talk for a second. So we've been talking about whether or not they're going to have a cross-buy policy like Microsoft has with their was it?
Smart something.
Smart delivery. Smart. I can never remember that name.
It's so generic a name. I keep thinking like it reminds me of like DoorDash or
it does not sound like an Xbox thing. Smart delivery. Anyway, PS5 apparently cross-buy is going to be up to the developer or the publisher if they want to offer it. But the speculation now is that most devs and publishers will offer a free upgrade program for PS5. So it looks like that. Cross-buy to me still sounds more like a thing than smart delivery.
Smart delivery. It really does. It's too buzzwordy. I think smart delivery, and it makes you. It just go automatically. Just generic. I think it's too generic.
It's too generic. I can't remember it.
No,
but anyway,
called it X delivery or something like that. You'd remember that.
Exactly. Right.
Or Smart X delivery. Now you're gonna remember.
How about
just
Xbox delivery or something? I don't know. Xbox cross. I don't know. Anyway, cross buy apparently is a thing for PS5. Sony will allow devs and publishers to decide game by game if they offer cross buy.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
Microsoft's doing the same thing, like the third party.
Right, it's up to the third party.
They decide if they want to offer it or not.
So the question was, is Sony going to offer it? Yes, they are. There will be cross-buy available if the publisher decides to do so. So things like the new Assassin's Creed, things like 2077 Cyberpunk, I think the same thing will apply for PS4 owners to PS5. You'll get that free upgrade.
We'll talk about 2077 for a second. I know it's not in our notes, but Microsoft announced the pricing for their
I should have brought in that
limited
image.
edition Xbox Series One X 2077 edition, which is a ugly
box
to begin with.
So it comes with the special edition Xbox, special edition controller, and the game.
Yeah, and all that for the low price of $2,000 American.
Wasn't it $24.99?
Canadian.
Oh, Canadian.
Yeah, I shared the Canadian pricing.
Why? Is it? Have they forgotten that this game is releasing in 2020, not 2077? Have they established? Are they looking at inflation for 57 years?
That's what they must be doing. They're like, well, this is what consoles are going to cost then.
So this is the 2077 price.
Yeah, but you get it now. But then you get the smart delivery in 2077. You're going to get the cybernetic upgrade to play it just in your brain.
Well, I was wondering if that $24.99 Canadian included a cybernetic enhancement. Like for that kind of money, I expect some kind of enhancement.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's got to be a publicity stunt. They're not making that many of these things. They're not intending people to buy this as the super rich. Or like I can't. Like we're in a.
It's got.
Recession.
Is this not some kind of a joke, or is this for real?
We're in the middle of a pandemic and a recession, and you're going to charge $2,500 Canadian for a console.
How does that make any sense at all?
I don't know. Like unless it's like a ridiculous placeholder like price or something like that they wanted to get it up on the store so people could look at it. And didn't want to put in a price because they don't have one yet they don't have one announced for the actual console, and they didn't want people put it in at $500 and have everybody pre-order it and then find out the console is actually going to be $600 or something like that. So it could be just a very high price point. Like we saw that at EB Games when pre-orders would come in at $99 or $999 would be the price in the system to prevent somebody from doing a full pay. And saying,
that's a good point because the console price hasn't been announced.
Yeah.
So how can you price the special edition version of it already?
Yeah, so I'm guessing that might be what it is. We're just going to put a ridiculous price in there to prevent people from full paying something and saying, well, I should get it at that price because I paid it in full. Because the EB policy used to be, if you bought something, if something went into the system and it was like $29 and it was supposed to be a full price game, if you came in and pre-ordered with a full pay.
It's paid for, yeah.
It's paid for in full, and you just picked it up on day of. So they started doing $999 as the pre-order pricing for stuff to prevent that from
right.
From
and if you did pay that much, you just get money back.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm. It's weird to see a $24.99 or $19 or like $2,000 American rather than just like a $10,000 price tag or something that's absolutely ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. All right. I have no segue from ridiculous into television, but let's go anyway.
All right.
We watched a few new shows. There's a bunch of new like summer shows starting. And so you and I don't want to talk too long on the first three here. Let's just briefly talk about them. So the first one,
talk at length at each one of these.
No, you can't. I will not.
Right.
I will cut you off.
Well, yeah, that's what's
so.
new.
So you and I, we watched the first episode of a new show called Ultimate Tag. I'm like, oh man, that sounds fun. What is this? I didn't get through the whole episode. I watched like half of it. I was so freaking bored, Tico. It is literally a professional version of the game of tag in an obstacle course like arena where there's 3 contestants being chased by professional taggers. So it lasts less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, it is the American Gladiators of tag. There are it's basically a combination of tag and parkour, like extreme. So it's extreme tag, which has been happening. There's been competitions on college campuses and stuff like that for a while, but they've turned this into a TV show. So contestants they have little tags on their thing, and they have to put like flag football. So the professional taggers are like the American Gladiators. They're all like named ridiculous, like Banshee and Caveman, and they all have these ridiculous personas and stuff like that, just like you had with the American Gladiators. And I found myself, I watched the whole episode. They do have some, like, there's like one thing where you have to hang from the ceiling and stuff like that. There's some different types of ways that they get chased around and stuff like that. But in the end, it's really just tag.
I found it so boring. I will not watch. Will you watch more? Because I'm not watching more.
I don't think I will, to be honest with you, and that's weird for me. Like I'm like, okay, I'll watch more. I found myself going, well, if you're gonna pull this kind of crap off and put this on TV, why not just bring back American Gladiators? Yeah. That was at least fun. At least I enjoyed American Gladiators.
Yeah, exactly.
I found myself very bored with very quickly. And I know American Gladiators has been back once already, and didn't last, but I still found even that fun when it came back.
Yeah.
And I would rather watch that than this. Although I will.
You know what I want? Actually, you know what I want back was the Robot Wars. I want that show back.
I think that is back.
What?
Chris Jericho is hosting a Robot Wars series that's, I believe, currently running.
Maybe it wasn't called Robot Wars. I'm gonna have to look it up. But
you're talking about the robots in the arena, and they'd hit each other with that's
it's Robot Wars. So is it back?
Yeah, Chris. I'm pretty sure. Like I'm not sure if there's a current season going on, but like it was last year.
No, it ran from 2016 to 2018.
Did you look up Robot Wars, or did you look up the one that I'm talking about?
Robot Wars. The one I used to watch was Robot Wars. I'm pretty sure that was what I watched.
All right, I'm looking it up as we speak because he was the host of a show, and I'm just talking slowly as we go because I'm trying to find it. As himself on.
This is good radio right here.
I know, it's perfect. You're supposed to be the one filling the empty space while I look.
Well, I was just looking up why Robot Wars was canceled, but maybe this isn't the same one I used to watch. But man, I loved that. It's got to be Robot Wars.
Yeah, no, there was one called Robot Wars, and the new one that Jericho was hosting was called something slightly different, like Robot Battle Arena or something like that.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to look it up and talk about it again. Robot Wars Arena or no? I don't know, man. I don't remember what it was called.
We will find it and then discuss it later.
Because Robot Wars was on the BBC, and this was on like ABC.
Yeah, so there is something that is current-ish that like was recently showing. Anyways, American Gladiator would be better. Like the one they have the one
BattleBots. Was that it?
Maybe.
BattleBots. Yes, I think that was it. BattleBots. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe that's...
We'll find it, and then we'll probably watch it, and then go, why did we watch that? That wasn't as good as we remembered it being.
Possibly. But anyway. Let's move on. You watched Snowpiercer.
I did watch
which
Snowpiercer.
is based on the novel. There was a Snowpiercer movie with Captain America.
Yes, and it's based off of a graphic novel, not a
graphic
novel.
Okay,
graphic
so
novel.
the show is also based on the graphic novel, not necessarily off the movie. So
Correct.
you watched the first episode. I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen the movie?
I have seen the movie. I actually really enjoyed the movie.
I enjoyed the movie as well. How does the TV show compare to the movie?
It feels actually very good. So this is set as a prequel to
the movie?
'cause obviously,
Oh,
yeah, the movie. Well, the movie, ended the whole thing.
Oh, I know. I just didn't expect this to be related to the movie. Period.
Well, this is a prequel. Before everything happened.
I said I didn't know it was related to the movie at all.
You're not related to the movie at all.
I'm not related to the movie.
Okay.
Neither
this
is
is
your
a
mom.
prequel to the movie, and the base setup for this is obviously you're familiar with the world has ended because the world, they used nukes and it somehow froze the Earth. I can't remember the exact.
The Earth is frozen. Period. The Earth is frozen.
Yeah,
and they're on a train.
The only people left alive are on this train called the Snowpiercer, which travels around the world. And because it's in constant motion, that's why it's not freezing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right. So everybody left in the world is on this train.
Yes.
And so this takes place early on in the days of the train. And there's a murder on the train is basically what happens.
So it's now Murder on the Orient Express.
Basically, and they go back and they pull this guy from the back area of the train, from the slums of the train or whatever it is, because he used to be a homicide detective. And so they bring him up.
Is this the setup for the whole?
It seems, yeah. It seems to be a murder mystery on the train, Murder on the Orient Express. So he has now been pulled from the back. He's given some extra privileges and asked to, like I said, basically, you solve this crime, and you'll get extra privileges. We'll move you up in the.
Does it seem like the show is taking more of just life on the train as opposed to telling the story of the novel?
Yeah. Well, the story of the novel really is. So this is not set from the novel. The story of the novel is the movie we saw. So this is set way in the early days of this.
Okay, so this is new material. This is
new material.
It is. So when you say it's a prequel, you mean it is literally a prequel even to the novel?
Yes.
Ah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a new story based on the early days, like literally like after they first started the train.
Okay.
And this is sort of like the early life on the train, as it sort of begins and stuff like that. And there's still descent in the back cars as they're trying to plot to get up, and it's all that revolving around this murder mystery.
Interesting. I'm definitely going to watch it. Dorothy did not enjoy the movie, so she assumed immediately she would not enjoy the show. But it sounds like the show isn't the movie. Like they're not even related, other than the fact they're taking place on the Snowpiercer.
Yeah, it's the same tone as the movie. She may not enjoy the show. I actually enjoyed the movie, and I enjoyed the first episode of the show.
All right. You also watched The Great, which is a comedy drama based on Catherine the Great, who was the queen of
Russia, Empress of Russia.
She becomes the Empress of Russia because she marries Peter. But where was she from originally? Wasn't she from England? Or France?
She was from Austria.
Austria. Thank you. See, I don't know. I don't know that history.
So yeah, she was the Princess of Austria or Queen of Austria.
No, she was just married off.
Okay.
She was not royalty. She was just married off to the Emperor of Russia. Peter, not Peter the Great. This is Peter the Great's son. Peter the OK.
Peter the OK. So this is a comedy drama. So how much comedy? A lot of comedy dramas. Like I recently finished watching and I loved it. Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, which was humorous, but also had a very good emotional, serious tone to it. But it was still comedic in many ways. Did you watch that at all?
Yes, I watched the whole thing of that. Yeah.
So how do you compare that to The Great? Is it that kind of...
Well, there's less singing.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
So, it is actually very well done. It follows Catherine,
Catherine the
Empress
Great.
Catherine the Great. It follows her from when she first is married off to Peter. So this is an arranged marriage. So she,
Yes.
and her first arriving as like not really knowing what's going on as a very young woman, and realizing that Peter is an idiot. He's an imbecile, really. He's an entitled, spoiled rich kid who really doesn't care for the people, and she has greater hopes for the people. So it's her planning a coup to basically kill him and take over Russia.
Is it sitcom style comedic, or is it more like an Ally McBeal? Like Ally McBeal was also a comedy drama back in the day.
Yeah, I didn't watch Ally McBeal. So it's harder for me to compare what that is, but it's not slapstick funny or anything like that where you're expecting a laugh track. It is set more in historical things, but it's a lighter hearted take on a drama.
Okay.
There's some very funny bits as she's navigating her way through these scenarios. Peter is played by Nicholas Hoult, who you'll know as the Beast from the X-Men movies.
Yes. Yeah, I recognize him from the commercials.
And from Mad Max, and he's absolutely fantastic. He's very likable and not likable at the same time. And he's an idiot, but he is also a cruel person. Like but cruel not because he's cruel, but mainly because of his status. Like he's the emperor, so everybody should do what he says. Right. I want to do this, I'm going to do this. I don't care. I want to have sex with that lady, I'm going to have sex with that lady. That's just how it works. I want to shoot this guy, I'm going to shoot this guy.
Okay.
It's a very I really enjoyed it. It's a 10 episode series with hopes of a second series, and I've watched all 10 of them already, like that quickly. I really, really enjoyed the take on this.
All right.
And I think Dorothy would enjoy it. It is not overly graphic it's not a Game of Thrones thing where there's a lot of blood and gore and nudity or anything like that. It's
Would you say it's more dramatic than comedy?
I would say probably leans slightly more on the side of dramatic than comedy.
Okay.
Only because like comedy, you're expecting slapstick and goofiness and like cartoon bears and all that stuff, and that it's not that. It's more on the realistic side, but humorous takes on that.
Okay. This week, one show I was more excited for going into it was DC's Stargirl. Of course, a new DC show not set in the Arrowverse, although it is airing on CW. Which is so weird that the CW is airing it as a DC show, but not part of their already established Arrowverse.
Yeah.
And can I be honest with you, after watching the first episode?
You may be honest, Sean.
I am glad it's not part of the Arrowverse because it was so terrible. The first episode was just, I found it so lame.
So here's the thing. I actually enjoyed the episode. I did find it enjoyable, but it did not fit the tone of the Arrowverse whatsoever. It felt to me like this is obviously the origin of Stargirl, and it felt like the first 45 minutes or so of Shazam as they introduced the Shazam character. It felt more like it meets that sort of world.
It really felt almost like a slapstick comedy because of that staff. Like the staff literally having a mind of its own, dragging her around. It felt so unbelievably stupid.
Yeah, like Shazam.
I didn't find Shazam stupid.
Well, no, not stupid, but like
I found this very stupid, silly,
cartoonish.
Thank you.
That's the word. It's not stupid, but cartoonish, and that's what I felt about Shazam. It felt very cartoonish to me. The types of humor and comedy and slapstick of it was cartoonish, and that's what I found with this show. I enjoyed it. It was got one of the Wilsons in it.
Luke Wilson is in it. So here's my problem with the silliness. The silliness didn't fit because the actors were trying to be serious. Do you know what I mean? The actual characters were not silly in themselves, but the show felt silly.
I found the whole thing felt cartoonish. The villains felt like over the top cartoonish.
Oh, the villains
like,
are for sure villains. Yes, absolutely. And Starman, when he dies and gives the staff over,
it was Joel McHale.
Yeah, I know, which is like weird that you would even give Joel McHale that kind of a role, but it's not that I don't like Joel McHale, it just doesn't feel like something he should be in. But yeah, it was like you need to find someone. He's dying, and you need to find someone worthy of the stuff. And he looks at him and says, "It's not you, definitely not you." And then he goes back to dying. I'm like, what's going on right now?
Yeah, cartoonish.
Oh my God. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. It is not, especially after things like Arrowverse and Titans and all the stuff DC has done on television lately, to throw Stargirl in here as like this weird...
It is really a completely separate entity from any of the other types of universes they built. So you've got your Arrowverse universe, which has more of a serious vibe to it. You have your Titans and Doom Patrol universe, which I think are now separate universes, but they were the same universe for like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
but now they've separated them because I think Titans is canceled now, and Doom Patrol's getting another season. I don't know. I can't remember what they're doing.
I know. I did hear they're separate now, or at least they're not. They're not going to write them as if they're in the same world anymore. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the same thing. I mean, this Stargirl, like we've seen those characters in the Arrowverse.
Yes. And Our Man and Starman. We saw them all in Legends of Tomorrow. Yeah. There was a whole season where those characters were in there because one of the characters came from that era.
Yeah.
The 1940s.
So now they're separating this. And I'm okay with this if this is a standalone comedic. Like I really enjoyed Shazam, and and because of that, I took this as that type of a show, that cartoony, basically real world, real life version of Teen Titans type of show, as opposed to like Teen Titans cartoon versus Titans, but versus that sort of hardcore line that they've been doing with the other series.
Listen, I am a hardcore superhero fan, so I will continue watching it. I felt let down by the premiere. I expected something better, and I just thought it was really hammy and so bizarre, and I hated the staff. I'm thinking to myself with the staff, because the staff literally has a mind of its own, only when wielded by someone who's worthy of it.
Yeah.
Which is weird in and of itself, that only people who are worthy of it can wield it, but once you've activated it, it has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
And then she can let go of it and nothing happens.
Yeah, I know there's some weird bits, that will have to get explained with this staff, with its origins and stuff like that. I mean, it was similar with Doctor Strange's cape in the Doctor Strange movie.
Yes, but Doctor Strange's cape isn't doing everything.
Well, it's doing some stuff,
right? It's slapping people. The stick itself is the staff is doing everything. It was literally just dragging her around. She did dragging nothing. Her around
and blowing stuff up and doing the whole thing. So it is.
It was acting on its own, is what I mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was just, I don't know, man. That was Stargirl.
We will have to see where it goes.
I'm going to see where it goes and how she learns how to use it.
I was less upset about it than you.
Obviously. Here's something I am upset about, though.
You're upset about stuff? Okay.
Ruby Rose, who, of course, is the star of Batwoman.
She is Batwoman.
She is Batwoman. Is no longer Batwoman.
Is no longer. She has quit the show after one season. She's leaving the
show after one season. So the Arrowverse is now in a very odd predicament where they have to recast the main character of a show.
Yep.
Get this. In a world where alternate Earths no longer exist. Right? Yep. So you literally have to recast Batwoman herself and not even deal with the fact that it's a different actor. Yeah, they're going to have to start filming season 2 as if nothing has changed because, and I'm assuming you're up to date with Batwoman. All of the storylines that are taking place would completely unravel if they renew it with a new character.
As a new, like as somebody else.
As a new Batwoman.
Other than Kate Kane as Batwoman. Yeah.
Every single storyline would unravel if it was no longer Kate Kane.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's not like the Joker and Batman. This is, like her Joker is Alice, who's related to her. So that's what the tie-in is. It is family. The whole thing is related around family.
And the only reason Alice is going after her now is because of her betrayal.
Right.
If it's no longer Kate Kane, that storyline no longer exists.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's ridiculous. And even the way the season ended, right, with the cliffhanger that they gave us, also wouldn't work if it was no longer Kate Kane.
Yeah, it ties everything to the family. It is very odd. What I read was the reason, I guess not the reason given, but the reason speculated is that she was unhappy with the workload of being the title character of a full series 22 episode or 20 episode series.
The long hours were more than she was anticipating in being this role. It also, although it's not the main reason, I think some of it stems back from the injury she had doing a stunt where she was almost paralyzed, which I didn't even realize until this came out that this happened. And I think that kind of freaked her out. I mean, it would be.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the scenes, because this is a Batwoman thing, were shot at night too. So I'm guessing it messed with her schedule, like her sleeping schedule and stuff like that. So those are the reasons why she's decided to leave the show. She's had some minor parts in a few movies in the past. She was a side character on Orange Is the New Black.
Yes.
She hasn't really
for a very
been
short
the
time.
focused title character.
She was in Orange for 6 episodes maybe?
Right, as a side character. So she hasn't had to endure the type of filming schedules, and so she obviously was not interested in continuing that. And it's too bad because she was a great Batwoman.
She really was.
And it is going to be very difficult for them to find a replacement. They are looking in the LGBTQ community for a replacement because
those letters keep getting longer.
Yeah,
it used to be LGBT, and now it's LBGTQ.
Q.
Isn't there another one now?
No, I think that's
Is it just Q now? Okay. They're definitely they want to get another lesbian because that's the character, right? So they want to have
Kane
a lesbian actress playing a lesbian character, which is fine. Now there is one actor they all go by actor now, I guess. There is one actor who really, really wants this part, and if she gets this part, I'm like, that's awesome. It's Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Right? Stephanie Beatrice wants this part. She's a huge fan of Batwoman, and I'm going to be honest, she'd be perfect for the role.
She'd be great in the role. I just every time you see somebody campaigning for a role, they almost never get it.
They never get it. I know so many actors who love parts and campaign for mostly superhero parts. Whenever an actor campaigns for a superhero part, that's never the one they go with. Right? But Stephanie Beatrice would be, I think it would be interesting to see if she could, because of her filming both with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, whether or not she could juggle both of them.
Yeah, but, I mean, shorter seasons on Brooklyn Nine-Nine now, and depending on when they're filming, and as the fact that she is a main character but not the main character in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, they could write episodes around her schedule. More.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, wow. Ruby Rose leaves Batwoman, so we're going to come back to a whole new Batwoman, and we're just going to have to accept the fact it's a new actor with no explanation, because you can't do alternate Earth, you can't do parallel dimensions, you can't do any of that because none of it exists anymore in the CW.
Yep. Unless you figure out some other way to bring them back, which sort of kills your entire...
No, like you and I were discussing, well, maybe Alice, kills Kate Kane, and there's a new person takes her role. I'm like, I don't. But Kate Kane is Batwoman. You.
Yeah, I mean, you could have that and end, but that would also then end Alice's time on, that would end her storyline as
You'd
well.
You'd have to create a whole new origin story for a new Batwoman. You'd literally have to redo season 1.
Yeah.
And I don't think that works. I am fully prepared to just go into season 2 with a new actor with nothing said.
I'm prepared to do it. I am not a fan of those scenarios when they change out an actor.
I agree.
I was not happy that, even though I think that Don Cheadle does a fantastic job as War Machine, I don't like the fact that I know that Terrence Howard was the first.
You know what? I always forget Terrence Howard was the first now because Don Cheadle has done such a good job.
Well, but I'm okay with it, and your brain sort of goes, okay, I'm going to forget about that. Same thing with Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk.
Right.
He was not the first Hulk.
Right. You kind of forget the fact that Edward Norton was actually supposed to be the Hulk.
But it forces you to block that out in your mind, moreover, as a continuity thing. But
it's no different than Superman being a new actor every time they do new Superman movies, or Batman. How many Batman have we had now?
Yeah, but they're all
look at the original
scenario.
Look at the original series of Batman. You had 3 different Batman in 4 movies. And they were all sequels to each other.
Yeah, and it was not believable. Like, it took me out of, and I watch each one as an individual movie as opposed to, and they weren't Batman 1, Batman 2, Batman 3. It was Batman, Batman Forever, Batman
Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
but like I view those as separate movies as opposed to that. Like, I've seen this in TV shows before where they change actors. In Roseanne, when they changed out Becky
into Sarah Chalke, which I actually prefer.
No, listen, I prefer Sarah Chalke as well, but it also does. It takes you out of that.
I know, but it's here's the thing though. It is actually very unprecedented for the CW because while there have been actor changes, they also changed the character per se. Like when Firestorm, when Robbie Amell left to pursue movies and other television shows, he was Firestorm. So they replaced him with a new character, but he was still Firestorm.
He was still Firestorm, but it was a different.
Yeah,
it was a different alter ego of Firestorm.
Right, because Firestorm was 2 characters that merged. So one of those 2 was a new character, right? So, but this is the first where it's the main actor. You can't create a new character to be Batwoman. Kate Kane is Batwoman, period. So
particularly not without the
all the stories on
universes where you can be like, oh well, this is the Kate Kane from this universe.
Yeah, no. Well, all the stories would still unravel, right? So anyway, we're well over our normal hour, but one last thing. All of the crybabies are getting their wish, and the Snyder cut of the Justice League is coming to HBO Max. Can I just say I don't care?
I haven't seen the Snyder cut, so
nobody has seen the Snyder cut.
Well, that's what I mean. I'll watch it. I mean, it can't get worse than what Justice League already was.
Oh, I'll watch it, but do you actually care?
No, I mean, I'm mainly because the first cut was so terrible. I mean, maybe I'll watch this and go, well, man, that does make me care. That was better.
Well, here's what I'm wondering. It's going to go one of 2 ways for sure. It's going to be like, man, this is a way better cut. This makes more sense. Or, wow, J.J. Abrams actually made it better. And then the whiners will all shut up.
There's also talk of another cut of Suicide Squad that may be coming out as well because of this. I mean, HBO Max has to fill some content. They have a whole new subscription service coming out. They need something to draw people in. If this is the only place you can watch this cut, it's going to bring people in. We are subscribers to Disney Plus because we were super hyped about Mandalorian.
Yep.
That was what gets you in the door, and if this is what gets people in the door for them, and then hopefully they have enough content to keep people.
Exactly. Well, we'll see. I kind of hope it goes the way of, wow, J.J. Abrams actually saved this piece of crap.
I don't care either way. When it comes out, and I'll watch it. But I really don't care. Like, I'm not excited about it. I'm not excited about it. I'm just it's something that's going to exist, and I will watch it. It's the same thing with the Donner cut of Superman. You know, I didn't care one way or the other. I've watched both of them. Yeah. I think the Donner cut is a better cut, but I didn't care either way. If they never released it, I would have been fine with that.
And speaking of better cuts, we better cut this show now.
No, that was bad.
No, that was actually bad.
No.
Anyway,
bad.
Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. This has been episode number 369 of the OMG Hour. Of course, you can follow the show on Twitter at the OMG Hour, and I am Ziantane everywhere. That is XIANTAYNE.
And you can follow me at Mr. Second Place.
Thanks, everybody. We'll be back next week, hopefully with lots more news.
Bye, guys.
If you liked what you saw there, give us a subscribe down below. Check out these videos over here. There's a video there.
Over there.
No, there's a video there, and there's a video there. You should check them out.
There's some over there. You should watch them all.
All twice. Of them. If you like what you saw, give us a like, subscribe right down there, and thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you later.